Hello everyone. In this video we are going to learn about the areas of the spatial sensations, right? Now, as in the diagram itself you can identify, here the visual areas are shown, right? So first, the special sensation, in special sensation areas, first we are going to learn about the area of vision, right? Now, the visual area, it is located above and below the calcarine sulcus on the medial surface of the occipital lobe, right? You know, here was the calcarine sulcus that we have identified, right? So, it is located above and below the calcarine sulcus on the medial surface of the occipital lobe. It corresponds to area 17 of the Brodmann, right? Here you can identify area 17 of the Brodmann. The visual area is also called as the striate area because the cortex here contains the line of Jennery, which is just visible to the unaided eye, right? Now, what is this line of Jennery? It is a band of myelinated axons that run parallel to the surface of the cerebral cortex on the banks of the calcarine fissure in the occipital lobe. And this formation is visible with the naked eye as a white strip that is running through the cortical grey matter, and so it is called as a line of Jennery. And so because of this reason, this area is also called as the striate cortex. It is called as line of Jennery because it was discovered by Francesco Jennery. Okay, so that is about the line of the Jennery. A white colored line is seen in this calcarine fissure. The chief source of the afferent fibers to the area 17 is the lateral geniculate nucleus of the thalamus by way of the geniculocalcarine tract. Area 17 constitutes the first visual area, right? Because in the diagram you can also see that it is shown as visual 1. You also have visual 2 and visual 3 areas, right? So area 17, it constitutes the first visual area. It is continuous both above and below with the area 18 and beyond this with the area 19 of the Brodmann, which are also known as the visual association or psychovisual areas, right? So this 17, it is related to the 18 above and 18 below also, to the 19 above and 19 below also, right? So that you have to correlate. Now this 18 and 19, they are called as the visual association areas, right? One more diagram we can see for this. Right, yeah. Here you can see area 17, that is the principal visual cortex or the striate cortex, and above that 18 and 19. Here also you can see 18 and 19, right? These are the visual association areas in the occipital lobe. Coming back to the original diagram again. Now, since the fibers of the geniculocalcarine tract or the optic radiation terminate in these regions also, therefore these areas are regarded as the second and the third visual areas respectively. Okay. Now the role, what is the role of the second and third area? These two areas, they include among other complex aspects of the vision, the relating of the present to the past visual experience, right? So in what is the role of this association, visual association cortex? Means they help in remembering the past things that the eyes have seen, right? So related again to the, they will correlate it with the memory, with the recognition of what is seen and appreciation of its significance. The three areas are linked together by the association fibers, and the visual areas give efferent fibers which reach the frontal eye field, right? Frontal eye field we have learned in the motor areas, right? So at that time also we have talked about this, that it is related to the visual areas, and now here you can see the visual areas, they will be related to the frontal eye field, right? Next, the area of special sensation is the hearing. hearing, you can better identify in this diagram here. Okay, hearing, the auditory or the acoustic area, it lies in the temporal lobe. Okay, and most of it is concealed and it lies in that part of the superior temporal gyrus which forms the inferior wall of the posterior ramus of the lateral sulcus, right? So what most of that area is concealed, right? So this auditory area, it is shown here 41 and 42. Why? Because it is in the inner aspect, right? You cannot not see easily from the surface, right? So it is present in the superior temporal gyrus which is forming the inferior wall of the posterior ramus of the lateral sulcus. Corresponds with area 41 and 42 of the Brodmann. The medial geniculate body of the thalamus is the principal source of the fibers ending in the auditory cortex, with these fibers constituting the auditory radiation. There is a spatial representation in the auditory area with respect to the pitch of the sounds, right? Spatial means that is occupying a space. Means here the different areas are occupying space in relation to the pitch of the sounds, right? Means we have a high pitch sounds, we have a low pitch sounds, right? So impulses of the low frequencies, they impinge on the enterolateral part of the area, and the impulses of the high frequencies, they get heard on the posteromedial part of this area, right? So low frequencies are impinged on the enterolateral part and high frequencies, they are heard on the posteromedial part. Okay. Cortex gets afferent from both the ears. Body receives information that originates mainly in the organ of Corti of the opposite side. Now again in the ear you have to remember the function is contralateral first and then ipsilateral. Okay. The incomplete decussation of the ascending pathways ensures a substantial input from the ear of the same side as well. The auditory radiation does not only end in the first auditory area but extends to the neighboring area as well, that is known as the auditory association area or the second auditory area, right? That is nothing but they are talking about area number 22, that is the vernix area, right? That 22 area is also called as the secondary auditory area. This area lies behind the first auditory area. It is lying just behind the 41 and 42, right? Just behind the first auditory area in the superior temporal gyrus. It corresponds to the area 22 of the Brodmann on the lateral surface of the superior temporal gyrus, which is also known as the vernix area. And it is of major importance in the language function, right? We have seen in the vernix area, it is also called as the sensory language area, right? Because its function is language. Next is the taste. The taste area or the gustatory area, it is located in the dorsal wall of the posterior ramus of the lateral sulcus with extension into the insula and corresponds to the area 43 of the Brodmann, right? In this diagram it is not visible. Let us see one another. Okay, here also they haven't shown. It places the taste area adjacent to the first sensory area of the cortex for the tongue and pharynx, and its location is similar to the second somasthetic area, right? So where you will exactly find here, right? Area 43. See, it should be here. It is located in the dorsal wall of the posterior ramus of the lateral sulcus, right? And it places the taste area adjacent to the first sensory area of the cortex for the tongue and the pharynx. Its location is similar to the second somaesthetic area, right? So location is similar to the second somaesthetic area. And where is the second somaesthetic area? It is same only, right? What I have just shown here. Last is the smell. Smell ends in the piriform lobe, right? Only one sentence is written, that is, it ends in the piriform lobe. Piriform lobe is the part of the Rhinen-Kaplan, that is the part of the olfactory part of the brain, right? As it is smell, right? The function is smell, so it is related to the olfactory part of the brain, right? That is all about the area of the spatial sensations. Now, clinical anatomy related to the spatial sensory areas. First is the primary visual area 17. Lesion of this area will lead to the loss of the vision in the visual field of the opposite side, that is homonymous hemianopia. Right? You can also see this. Right? Now the first one is that in 17 area, like Brodmann's area 17, if there is a lesion to the primary visual area, it will lead to the loss of the vision in the visual field of the opposite side, again contralateral. So it is, this condition is called as homonymous hemianopia, right? Second is auditory area. Primary auditory area 41 and 42. A unilateral lesion involving the auditory area causes diminution in the acuity of hearing in both the ears, and the loss is greater in the opposite ear, right? As I told you, again the contralateral function is first. However, the impairment is slight because of the bilateral projection to the cortex, and the deficit is difficult to detect by the clinical test. Auditory association cortex, or the secondary area, that is 22. In lesions of this area, interpretation of the sound is lost, right? If area 22 is affected, then sound cannot be interpreted. Okay, that we have already seen with the Wernicke's area. Okay, so that is all about the clinical anatomy related to the areas of spatial senses. Okay, with this we complete with all the sensory areas. In the next video, we are going to learn about the functions and applied anatomy of the cerebral cortex. Bye.